Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. Today, I'm joined by Anna Esrov. She's the VP of Customer Experience and Loyalty at Boll Branch. Anna joined the company over 5 years ago as Director of E-commerce. But her passion for the full customer journey was so clear that leadership created an entirely new role for her. At Boll Branch, she's built a proactive customer experience function and launched Room Service, a white glove delivery experience that brings the brand directly into customers' homes. We are going to talk about what it means to design for delight, how customer feedback can drive real decisions, and why hospitality thinking is changing retail. Here's Paula Macaggi, and this is episode 108 of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. Anna, welcome to OFFBounds. Welcome to our studio in New York.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. I remember the first time I heard about you was at an event here in New York. It wasn't that cold back then, so It's been several months. And I remember after I heard the story you had to tell, I was fascinated and I asked my team to reach out. I'm so happy you're finally here. Yeah, it's amazing.
Great to be here.
Well, let's talk about Boll Branch then. You are the VP of Customer Experience and Loyalty. And it's just such a fascinating role, right? Especially for what the brand is. But before we dive into the story, why don't you tell us about what Boll Branch is?
Sure. Boll Branch is a luxury organic home and bedding company. We're based in Summit, New Jersey, and
kind of local.
Kind of local, yes. And Scott and Missy Tannen founded the company 12 years ago.
Amazing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the story of Boll Branch?
Yeah. They founded the company 12 years ago, and it is a founder-led company, really just built on customer obsession. So Scott and Missy are still heavily involved in the company right now, which is amazing. They're in the office every day. And a little bit about the customer service side of Boll Branch. So when they founded the company, we actually didn't have customer service. Scott and Missy were the customer service team. The 800 number used to ring to Scott's cell phone, actually. And there'd be times where he'd be out at a steak dinner and his cell phone would ring and he'd have to help a customer with a missing box. And Missy would often call customers who had placed orders to find out how she could improve the designs of the product even more. So it's funny enough, a lot of our design elements have actually come out of those conversations. Like on our bath towels, we have this special loop so customers can hang them. And then on our fitted sheets, one of the needs coming out of those conversations was a tag for head or foot of the bed to make it easier. But I would say another thing about our story is just how incredibly proud we are about our supply chain. We like to say that we know from seed to stitch every step of the way of our products. So we work directly with the farmers, the factories, the ginners, weavers, dyers. We can tell from the moment the cotton seed was planted to what factory it was at, on its way to our warehouse, all the way to your front door, which is really, really unheard of. And I think what I love is that Scott and Missy, they made it their goal and just not to improve the lives of everyone that came in contact with the product. So the customers, the farmers, the factories. And I think the combination of customer obsession paired with ethical craftsmanship is really like the pillar of our brand.
You're basically saying that the brand has the product that is phenomenal, the experience that is great because we're dealing with the customer, and the supply chain, right?
Yes.
Like, which is like even the storytelling, like actually helps the community.
Totally.
Amazing. But customer experience wasn't your initial role, right? Like, why don't you tell us a little bit about your career and how you end up here?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think I have a little bit of a different upbringing. I kind of see myself being around customer experience from the day I was probably 2 years old. My mom actually founded a cheer and dance apparel company with her sister in the 80s and ran the business for a majority of my childhood. She ran the business out of our home. So I just have such vivid memories of her running the business, We ate, breathed, slept the business just because it was inside of our house. And I have memories of her just dealing with customers, building relationships, problem solving. And I think that really stuck with me. But my first role out of college, I was working at Theory, which is a men's and women's apparel company. When I started there in planning, we didn't have a website, which is crazy. The company had been around for 13 years and didn't have customer service. And I had the opportunity to join the e-commerce team and help launch customer service from the ground up for a company that had been around for 13 years. So that, I think, was a really pivotal moment, building that from the ground up and seeing what it was like to launch customer service. And then fast forward to Boll Branch, where I've been for almost the past 6 years. I started out in e-commerce, and just being back in a true customer-obsessed culture, it really reignited everything for me. And I think my boss, Katya, saw that as well and came into this new role as VP of Customer Experience and Loyalty.
That's amazing, because I think this role reflects what is different than what we usually talk is more about customer acquisition, but that's almost like the post-purchase, right? Like you're actually talking to the people that have already bought for you and could potentially buy more and etc.
Yep.
Amazing. And you shared a little bit of the story of listening to your customer, but how did, because you also shared a story that your bosses, the founders, were taking calls. How has this customer service evolved to where we are today?
Yeah. So one thing that I love about Boll Branch is, Scott and Missy have made it a part of our DNA to have this amazing customer service. And one differentiating factor, I think, is we have in-house customer service. They actually sit at our office in Summit, New Jersey. They have access to Scott and Missy, our product team, all of the trainings, cross-functional partners. And I think that really sets us apart from a lot of our competitors.
Yeah, but I just want to understand how, because they were so customer obsessed, they built the customer service from the ground, right?
Yep.
Like literally them taking the calls and etc. And today you have a whole customer experience role. How does that, what is exactly your day-to-day?
Day-to-day is a little bit of everything. I'd say we do a lot of, we're very heavy on listening to our customer in every type of channel. So whether it's, I have a team focused on listening for social listening. I have the customer service team that's obviously on the ground taking the phone calls. And then we have a loyalty aspect as well, where we're focused on clienteling and connecting one-on-one with our customers. And I think, what's a little bit different than a typical business is in stores, you have a great opportunity to work directly with your top customers and build that one-on-one relationship. And so we're really laser focused at Boll Branch on how can we replicate that store experience online. So I have a team as well focused on connecting with those digital-only customers who have never stepped foot into a store. So how can we connect with them virtually? How can we connect them with a store and get them in contact with the people that are dealing with the product day in and day out?
And how does this feedback usually come? It comes from the store associate, or you have channels?
That's a great question. I mean, the feedback's coming everywhere. We have weekly meetings with our store team, so we're hearing the feedback live. We have things like post-purchase surveys. So I'm sure you placed an order online. They ask you a bunch of questions after you check out, like what was your primary reason for purchase?
And people do answer that? I always
over 50% over 50% of our customers answer the survey. And we recently started adding more questions to the survey, and we were playing with it at first. We were worried that it would drop off, but customers love to give feedback. So we're listening to that feedback real time. We're actually piping the feedback from our post-purchase surveys into Slack, and it's become a little bit, everyone's obsessed with it. We have channels for the different answers that customers are answering. So we ask things like, did you find everything that you were looking for today? If not, tell us what you're looking for. We'll help you find it. We ask their primary reason for purchase, and we have a free form field and get a lot of information there. And we also ask things like, what could we do to improve your site experience? So we're piping those answers into Slack real time. And we have over half the company in the Slack channels watching it and crowdsourcing ideas on what we can do for these customers.
That's a lot better than scrolling on your phone. Just keep listening to people's feedback.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have 60% that you had to improve this or whatever. Like you're actually listening to the feedback that they wrote.
Real time.
Amazing.
And sometimes we'll pick up the phone and call the customer immediately. So, and they often, when we pick up the phone and call them, they're like, did you just see my survey response? They're so surprised when we reach back out because people think that it goes into a black hole.
That's my assumption too. Like, oh, I'm just going to become a statistics and who cares? Yeah. Is there anything that came from these feedbacks that you're very surprised? And what action did you take?
Yeah. So when we started putting this information into Slack and watching it real time, one common theme that we see come through the Slack channel was customers requesting split flex sheets. So a split flex bed is adjustable at the top only. So it's a very specific type of sheet that has a kind of a split in the middle. And not a lot of companies make these sheets. So we were getting a lot of feedback. It just kept coming up and the stores were mentioning it, but we'd see it in the Slack channels as well. So we started working with our product development team and they actually started producing this product, and it's been in a product development pipeline. It's actually launching next week, which is very exciting.
Amazing. We are already going to be published this episode, so I'm going to put the links in the show notes.
Okay, if anyone has a split flex. And what we would do is as they would come in, we would pick up the phone immediately and call the customer and ask if they were interested in prototype testing. And they couldn't believe it. So we got a lot of customers testing prototypes. They would send us pictures of their bed. They would fill out what could we do to improve it. We did a few rounds and they were just so thrilled to be part of the process. Like, I think one of them said, it felt like my voice really mattered. So
yeah, I was going to say, I think like if I was invited to go through the process of creating a product that I asked for, I would be so amazed and flattered to be part of the production.
So that was a really exciting moment to see. It took some time, but that was one that really stood out to me.
So basically, what I've learned so far is that when you listen to your consumers and actively listen to your consumers, you actually can create great experiences for them, even like that they can participate.
100%. It's that data and listening to your customers just gold, because I think for Boll Branch, obviously we wouldn't be here without our customers. So it is so important that we listen to them, what their pain points are, what they want more of, so we can just improve their experience even more.
What are some other examples of experiences that you brought to your customer base that are beyond the traditional retail experience?
Yeah. Okay. My favorite one is what we call room service by Boll Branch. So years ago, this was when I started and we only had one retail store in our Short Hills Mall.
How many you have now?
We have 15 now, and we're expanding. And so we've grown a lot in the past 6 years. And when we had one store, we were noticing customers coming in to buy sheets, bedding, and they didn't have the product knowledge or I'd say the confidence to make the bed at home. So we started offering to our local customers to come to their home and make the bed for them. And not just make it for them, but make it, I think we're not a bed making service, but we style it with them to teach them. And now that we have 15 stores, it's a part of our customer journey, offering this room service by Boll Branch, where we'll come help you style your bed. I know it sounds crazy, but customers love it.
Are they like do they just say like, yes, of course? Do you like, yeah, how does it work?
Yeah,
Do you
I
ask,
think
can we go to your house and make your bed so you can see?
that's you make a really good point, because you have to mention it to them at the right point, and you have to build a relationship with your client. So you can't just say at checkout when they're making their purchase for their bedding,
excuse me.
yeah, exactly. We can come to your home. But I think it's one of those things that you have to mention throughout the journey of them discovering, warming them up to the idea, getting to know the customer, letting them know what we can do in our services and how easy. Because at the end of the day, the customer just wants to have a bed that looks like a 5-star hotel, you know?
I mean, yeah, they're not buying something at a super cheap price point.
No.
They are investing. There was time of consideration there before buying a product at the price point that you sell. So I guess it is an emotive moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's tips and tricks to make it look like that fluffy hotel bed. And so
I need that.
yes. And everybody needs it. And it makes such a difference. And I think giving the customer the confidence to make their bed, learning the layers, what we find is 9 times out of 10, if we can get into the customer's home, it often leads them taking us to another room. So let me show you my guest bedroom. I want to show you my kids, because they're so thrilled with the results. And it either happens then in that moment, or there's a scheduled follow-up.
No, like that's totally my customer pain point. I
Yeah.
would say I can totally see why, because I can buy the most expensive materials for my bed, but it still don't look like I see in magazines and TV,
Yeah.
you know, like, so yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, because the store team, the brand ambassadors will sit there with you and show you the tips and tricks, because if you're not there with them, you'll never be able to make and create that same look. So it's so important, and customers love to be a part of the activity.
Yeah, and I think like there's also, you buy, I don't know, the sheets and the duvet, but there are other pieces that you never consider buying that would make the difference. So I guess like there's an upsell.
There's an upsell aspect as well. I think Colette in our Houston store does an amazing job at this, but I love seeing pictures of her car when she's ready to go on a room service project, because the car is packed to the brim. We obviously bring what the customer purchased, either if we'll deliver it or if it's at their home. But we also reach out to them prior to the day, asking if there's any other products they'd like us to bring. But we try to get pictures of their space as well, so we can see their aesthetic, bring additional add-on pieces. If they didn't purchase our pillows or our duvet inserts, those products are made specifically for our duvets and pillowcases. So they fill the product perfectly. They're made for each other. So if the customer doesn't have our insert, that's fine, but it could be a little flat. So sometimes, Colette will just run out to her car like Mary Poppins and say, like, look let me just try this. And it's a great moment, and the customer can actually see the difference on their bed.
There's like an aha.
Yep.
Like don't take it off. It's gonna stay like this. Where do I sign it? Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Amazing. Is this scalable though? Like, do you think that when you go from 15 stores to 150, will continue to be a service you offer?
1,000%. It is a part of our training process. It's a part of our culture. We offer it obviously to customers that live in the vicinity of a store, but we've also done projects where we've flown out to LA. We've flown to Park City before to complete a project for a customer. And I think that really impresses the customer for us to be able to make the trip out there. And then you are so grateful. You're not going to make it do the trip just because of it, right? So grateful, yeah.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting is that I talk to so many brands of so many sizes, but usually the service component comes with the biggest brands, like the repair service, the whatever.
Yeah.
And Boll Branch is a mid-market brand, so it's interesting that size is not a problem, right? Like you can still deliver a great service for your customer.
1,000%. We can deliver great service. If we can't do it in person, we do a lot virtually as well. A lot of that started during COVID when we couldn't get into people's houses. So we'll do virtual styling sessions where we'll be in the store. We can pull the products and show them real time, which is also another way that we can scale and reach more people.
Yeah, you're not just selling product, you're selling the connection you have with your customer, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And you talked a little bit about Colette, that's her name?
Yes.
Yeah. How does this training work? Like, what are the sales associates trained to offer this extra hospitality?
Yeah. I'd say it's a part of their, the bed making, bed styling is a part of their onboarding process. And then Colette, when she onboards new team members, they go through a training process where they will actually attend other room service projects. So they kind of go through a little shadow project for a couple of sessions, and then they'll do one by themselves where Colette or the store manager will actually shadow until they feel comfortable going off on their own. Depending on the project size, we can send one person. We have a project for a large client in New Jersey that's happening in Florida next week. And we're flying Nicola out from our Shrewsbury store in New Jersey, and we're leveraging a couple of brand ambassadors from our Florida store as well. So we can staff up. It's great that we can tap into other stores to help with this. They love helping each other out.
Yeah, it seems like Boll Branch has the culture of giving the extra step.
Yeah.
Of offering something to delight and surprise.
Yeah, we're big on unreasonable hospitality.
Yeah, I was going to say about that. Like, I remember when we were talking, we both had this book on our desks.
Yes. Will Guidara's Unreasonable Hospitality book. Yep.
Yeah, just for context for people that haven't read, it's just an incredible book that shared the story of hospitality, but like in the restaurant business, on what it means to go to the extra step, which is beautiful. And I think like one thing that you mentioned that they said in the book is to let the associates experience what this means to them, so they see the happiness that they are providing, which is super funny.
Yeah, they need to be able to feel it themselves to give it, which is amazing. So we're really trying to create that culture at Boll Branch. And I think Scott and Missy obviously embedded unreasonable hospitality from day one, but this book has really helped just reinforce it. It's given us something to talk about. It's tangible. And
is it part of the onboard too?
It's funny enough, it's becoming part of our onboarding process, not just for retail stores, but also internally, because I think, like you said, you have to be able to experience it yourself. So we're trying to practice it as much internally to just show what it feels like to receive unreasonable hospitality. If you know what Will says, if you know what it feels like, it's so much easier to give it. So we're doing a lot of that. But I think the stores are loving it because it's unlocking this like new creative outlet for them, where it's just not the same day in and day out of working in a retail store, right? Like, we are giving the stores the power and the ability to go above and beyond and get really creative. And we've seen some pretty amazing stories come out of it.
Wow, can you share it?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm trying to think. We have so many, and we share them all in another Slack channel.
There's another Slack channel. How I surprise and delighted my customer.
Yeah. We had one customer come in. I love this story, that she wanted to have pillowcases. She was very upset that she couldn't get pillowcases made to match her green throw blanket, and she saw the print on the wall, and she had this vision. She was also going through some stuff personally, which we find out that a lot when we're, building that relationship with the customer. So Darlene in our Birmingham, Alabama store, she had a gut feeling. She's like, I need to do something a little bit extra for this woman. So she took the pillowcases off of what we call our feel wall, where customers can come and feel all the different fabrics. And she took them home and sewed them into the mini pillowcases that this woman was envisioning, and built made these like custom bolsters for her couch to go with her throw. And like I said, I think the woman was going through some things at home. This brought just like a glimmer of hope to her. And the fact that Darlene took these home and sewed them at her house was just amazing.
So the culture seems like they have the green light to provide whatever they feel is right for that customer.
They have the green light. We actually have given each brand ambassador, this started in Q4 of last year and we're carrying it through this year, but we've given them a budget. So it really empowers them they have the funds to do this. And
you have this much to surprise and delight a customer. Go
and do it. And what's funny is a lot of the times, like those pillowcases didn't really cost much. She used the fabric and her idea. And we've had other situations, like we had a family drive from California to Texas to feel our sheets and make a purchase. And we sent them out to a beautiful steak dinner after that because they made the trip to see us. So there's different levels of spend, but like I said, I think it's just like a really creative time where we love sharing the stories too in Slack, because a lot of times you don't have to recreate the wheel, but it's just interesting to see how everyone thinks about this.
I think like I will wake up every day thinking like how I'm gonna show up in a Slack channel with with a great story. I think like you generate this drive for the sales associates to just it's good.
It's contagious, and when you can see how good it makes the customer feel, it's the best feeling. So we're trying to really embody it in our culture, corporate, and obviously in retail. And we've had some stories be shared on LinkedIn, beautiful stories that people were so touched. So it's really, really cool.
It's beautiful. I think we are in an era where product is not enough. Like everybody can sell great products, but what you are selling here is completely different, so hard to recreate, and it's not AI generated, which sounds amazing. It's completely human.
Yes.
What would be your advice to other brands that don't have this post-purchase connection? How can they start building it?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think, if a brand doesn't, or a company doesn't have this service function, or they don't even know where to start, I think my advice is to look for pockets where your customers are outreaching to you. So whether it be the post-purchase survey a few years ago, we were looking at that data on a quarterly basis, but then we realized we could add in additional free-form questions and looking for ways that you can take what the customer is saying and really dive into it. I think brands need to remember you have to listen to the customer, because without them, there's nothing, right? So it's critical gold data, and listen to them, reach back out and connect with them. I think that I've found sometimes if you can reach back out to the customer, pick up the phone, email them back, ask more questions. Listening just brings more listening, which is great. And we've had great luck with adding some of these customers to focus groups as well. The ones that give a lot of information, they want to talk. And so
why don't you come over and tell us more?
Yes. And I think, just advice is looking for places where your customers are outreaching to you and engage with them.
Yeah, maybe give even the channel for them to do that, right? Like if you're not asking, maybe they have a lot of things to say, but if you're not asking, you never know.
Ask the questions that you want to find out. We asked the question, did you find everything you were looking for? You can take that one of two ways as a customer, right? So we say below that, if it's something we carry, let us know and we'll try and find it for you. If it's not something we carry, let us know what you want, and we'll talk to our product team. So you can take the data and slice it different ways. But like you said, you have to start asking the questions.
Yeah. And it seems like, I wouldn't ever buy from anybody else if I had this great service, right? Like I think like the retention rate is just response to what your customers are asking for.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to just build that relationship, improve our already high repeat rate, and build the relationships with as many customers as we can.
And we've been talking a lot about CX recently here on OFFBounds. Yeah. That's why your story is so fascinating because you can add to that.
Great.
But for other CX professionals that want to engage in this career, especially in such a moment where, I don't know, everything's being disrupted, what would be like your advice for them to be a CX leader?
To be a CX leader, I think my advice would be, there's a lot changing in this industry with AI. So I think as much as you can still maintain the one-to-one connection and not lose hold of that, that's so important, because you can swing the pendulum so many ways and have AI respond to everything. But for us right now in this moment, we're using AI to make our customer service team more efficient so they can spend more time with our customers on the phone, emailing, helping serve them in ways that they couldn't if they were just getting bogged down with other things. So I think looking for efficiencies and helping free up your customer service team's time so they can focus more on the customer.
Amazing. Anna, it was fascinating to hear your story. Thanks so much for sharing everything. And I can't wait to have someone in my house making my bed.
Yes, we'll come over.
This is totally a pain point for me. So looking forward to that.
Thank you so much, Paula.